good morning and happy new year, everybody. I guess I'll call this vlog 130. Alright folks, so this is kind of technically company days don't start until tomorrow, so the fact that I was able to knock out what I was doing with my car, got state inspection, got everything done. The only thing I need to do is get my car maintenance for the mileage that we've done, and I need to find a Toyota dealership for that. Not really that urgent for that, but we're gonna just try and knock out and get some much more stuff done for our media ministry and take it up a notch, because there is no plateau. You gotta constantly keep moving, and that's what I want to do. And hey, we got the technology, why not push it? We also have another slot available for our ATEM, so we can actually have 8 cameras. I have actually stopped using my AJaytheCEO HD 100A because I switched that over to the Sony ZV-1 because I want to have 4K overhead camera shot, and that's going to be my more portable camera. I would use it right now, but I don't have a mounting type of setup here in my car yet. That will give me some much better image quality, and that gives me some more functionality, zoom in, better focus, and all this other stuff when I'm doing top-down type of things. So when I'm doing builds, I can actually record in 4K, and then in post, zoom in and do some other stuff. But anyway, we're just trying to push it to the next level from a technology standpoint, from a skill standpoint, but also in a leadership standpoint, because I can get all this knowledge all day long, but if I happen to go somewhere else, my ministry goes nowhere from a skill set because I've kept all that stuff to myself. It's about not just teaching yourself, but teaching others, which involves learning how to lead people. That's the one thing we're working more on right now. But more importantly, I am driving up to my church right now. Hopefully somebody's here. Normally they write checks today, so hopefully I can get in here. And worst case scenario, even if I don't get a chance to finish, I have choir rehearsal on Thursday, so I'll be back down here anyway. So let's cut over to the church and let's get some work going. All right, so no one is here at the church yet. But I know people are going to be here today. So I think the good thing about that is for me to take the Sony ZV, get that set up, and bring that with me, because that will allow me to do some better stuff with recording and all this other stuff. And like I said, it's a skill. So you don't get better unless you actually start using this stuff. So I'm going to pack it up, bring it along, and go from there. And I think the mic is a lot better as well too, so playing around with that, learning and all this other cool stuff, and that will allow me to, hopefully make some better videos for y'all, so y'all can get some more dynamic looks at all the stuff that we do and some more detail. And I'm actually working on an overhead rig compared to the Elgato arm that I got, which works, but we can do better. So that's what we're going to be working on. So and just went around the U of our church, and I'm gonna head back to my apartment, do a little couple of videos. Once I get word that the people are here, I'm gonna head back here to the church and start working on switching over all of our cameras over to 1920 by 1080 at 5994 progressive scan. Alrighty folks, so we are on the ZV-1, and I guess we need to go ahead and head to church. I actually have my pastor's old computer that I upgraded with. I forgot that I had a 200 GE, which used to be at my mom's computer, that I upgraded her to a 3200G maybe like March of last year. So I forgot I had that processor, so I put that in here, and this is going to be just for a system for running like PowerPoint, scriptures, or whatever to go in a chapel. Did a video about that a while ago. It may be capable of live streaming. I don't think is a need for that, but I did put the old capture card in there, the Decklink mini recorder that used to be in our sanctuary that limited us to 1080i. So my phone's going off. Yay, I don't have to do this with my phone anymore. But I'm thinking about taking that down there. I might not, because the computer's been acting up a little bit. Sometimes it'll start up, sometimes it doesn't. I'm still going to play around with that yet. But I got to go back to church anyway for choir rehearsal on Thursday, so I might take it down there now. But we are heading to the church to play around and see if we can switch everything over to 1080p. I can get access to every single camera except for the one that's all the way in the front, because like it's 30 feet up in the air. I'm sure I can get the ladder, but I have the remote control to the camera. I just need to be close enough to be able to read it while I'm going through the menu options. But I think I want to play around with everything right now that's close to me to make sure that I can make sure that it works with the ATEM. And if I can get everything to work, then we know the other one is going to work, because I just got to do the same setting. And I don't know, my eye is bothering me. That's why I'm doing this. But anyway, let's get up in the car and let's head down to the church. I'm going to show you one of the things that I like to do to test. And this was something that Anthony from the media group, we talked about when he was having an issue with his Decklink capture card. And most capture cards do this, but I like the Black Magic ones because it just works like this. So let me show you. That's how I'm going to test to make sure we're getting the settings that we need, because the ATEM Mini Pro needs the ATEM Television Studio HD needs every single one of our inputs to be exactly the same. Thank you. So that we make sure that it works. So hopefully the ladder is here, because this is where I left it last. And who keeps locking the door? I don't know why. Everybody keeps locking this downstairs door, because we set the controls to turn on the sound system inside the room, so this bottom door needs to always stay open so that people can flip the main system on. And the ladder is there. So let me go ahead, grab the take off the Canon G20, and then we'll take it upstairs and we'll get to work to show you the trick I was talking about, as well as make the adjustments to the ATEM and all the cameras I can reach right now. I know that does. Woo. So anyway, I didn't realize I had this set to manual. I don't know. We'll see if that will change anything. But I got that one, and I have our Marshall camera that I took down, so I should have another plug because I have an extension that's running down there. So let's go ahead and turn on the system. All right, so the first thing, let's go over here and see, as you can see, we are at 1080i. We're gonna switch this over to 1080p. Set, change, now done. All right, so now let's make sure that works first, because there is a setting also to change the multi-view to that resolution as well. So we want to make sure that the TV can support it. All right, so there you go, 1080p, as you can see right there. So this is working. Let's turn on our other cameras. This one is actually set to auto, I believe, so it should natively work, but obviously you see it doesn't. We have our Pro Presenter system that we need to change as well, which is the up-down cross HD. And then we have this camera as well too that we need to change. So let's change this one first because this is the easiest here. We're gonna go over here to menu. Let's go to, let's see, let's go to setup. And we're looking for the HDMI out. All right, there it goes, it's auto. So let's set this to 1080p. See, auto should have picked it up, so I don't know. All right, so obviously we got an image here. This is our left camera. And boom, all right, that's one. So like I said, this is all about the image. Resolution has to match. Now, we're gonna go over to the Panasonic and kind of do the same thing. Menu, setup, resolution, 1080p. Boom, there's the next one. Now, the Canon is similar to what we have up here, and I need to plug in this other one to do the same thing. With the Blackmagic capture devices, you have this program called Video Setup, and this is my little cheat that inside of here, it's saying right now what the resolution that is coming in over SDI. I can switch this to HDMI, and the idea is I'm just going to switch this out and hook up the HDMI to it to make sure we're getting the right resolution. This is another way you can test that if you're not getting a signal in OBS, vMix, or something like that, and you have the Decklink, come to this first, and are you getting anything that's being registered on there? Because you should get something to show you that something is actually coming into the capture device. And then if you're getting this, match your software to the exact same setting, and then you should be good to go. So let me go through adjusting the settings on this one. Menu's not working either, so I might have to actually just do the, oh, maybe that's the reason why I had it on manual. So it gives me the full access to my menu. Okay, so we need to come here. That's not it either. Man, it has been a while since I've messed with this. So, menu, okay, now the menu is working. All right, so let's go over here to our settings. Output. Screen display is off, that's why we don't see, gives us our clean HDMI out going through the system. And we are looking for output. There goes, control HDMI 1080p output on. Alright, now all we got to do is connect it back up downstairs to our setup, and hopefully we should get the exact same thing. Now, if I had another cable, I could just connect it directly here and see if it will work, but I don't. I thought I had a cable for that, because it's not the mini HDMI, it's the, not the micro, it's the mini is what I need, and I don't think I have that cable here. I got a bunch of them at home. But anyway, let's go ahead and hook the camera up, and then we're gonna work on the, oh, you know what? I just realized the stage display is the Decklink mini monitor. No, I'm not using the mini. Yes, I am. The mini monitor, which doesn't support 1080p. So we might have some options with this, but let's make sure we get this camera first, and then we'll go and do that. So let me get back on the ladder, put this up, and we'll go from there. All right, we are having a slight little problem, but we will address that later. So I got the Marshall camera hooked up, and I have it directly connected to the Decklink. And as you can see, we're getting 1080i. So now we are going to crack open OBS so that we can see the menu, so we can make the adjustments to this. And the menu button is literally right there. So you got to be up close and personal for this to work. So as you can see, these are the lines that I'm talking about. We want to try and remove. So let's go ahead and get into the menu, and we're gonna go to oh, y'all can't even see it. All right, so we're in the menu. We're gonna go to adjust and frame rate. And we're just cycling through to get something. All right, that's 30. That's still 25. I want to get to 59.94. That's 29.97 because it's showing up in the settings right here. All right, I am looking up on B&H Photo where I bought this from, and it does say that it supports 1920 by 1080p at 59.94. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but I should be able to do this. Now the other thing we're going to check out is the Canon G20 and make sure what frame rate those cameras support as well too. I think it's 60. I really do. But this is, I guess, the pain of having to deal with this type of camera. Well, with this switcher, that it doesn't have a scaler built in. No. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. The Canon G20 can only support at this resolution. I don't know why that's taking so long to zoom in. It only supports at, am I missing it? Where's that? Yeah, right here. It only supports at 1080i at 60 frames a second, but for 1080p, it only supports at 24 and 30. Now that's not going to be necessarily a problem if the other cameras I have can actually do that. And just like that, folks, we realized that was a long waste of time. Well, no, it wasn't. It was a learning experience. This thing got stuck at 1080i and I couldn't switch it. It says it does support it. So pretty much, long story short, every single camera I have can actually support 1080p except for the G20s. All they can do is 30 or 24 at 1080p. So that would give us what we wanted, but then none of the other cameras we have can support that. They are 1080p 60 only. This can support it, every single camera except for the G20s. So what I want to see if I can do is repurpose this up-down cross converter, set it, send everything, convert everything back to what we originally had of every signal going into the ATEM is at 1080i 5994, but send it into this, convert this to 1080p 5994, and then, or even 60, then send this into the SDI splitter that now feeds everything else. and see what that does. So let me go back, switch the camera downstairs. Thankfully, I didn't even touch anything on the front camera, so I can just turn it off and turn it back on, and that's done. I need to pull back down the Canon G20 in the back, switch that one back to 1080i at 5994 or at 60, 5994, and then make sure all of that is working first. Then put this in the mix. I had this because ProPresenter kept having an issue when you turn the system off. So like I'm gonna turn the whole system off right now. And the issue was that ProPresenter would choke every time we tried to turn the system on because we're using two monitors. So here, this is fine. It would lose the setting every time. So if I close this, and maybe I should have closed ProPresenter first. So in here, obviously nothing is on, but when we had the up-down cross converter connected to this, it always looked like there were three monitors connected. So now what we're gonna do is turn the system back on and see, does our monitor show up at the right resolution and everything. Okay, everything is on. Okay, and now it's working. I don't know. You know, it's those days, it's days like this. You come in here wanting to work on one thing, and then it just doesn't work the way you want it to. Good thing we got it working now. We got everything coming in, and now what we're gonna do, and I might need to make a smaller cable for this. We're gonna do the main out from the ATEM, because we are not using the auxiliary out. Nope, we're not using the auxiliary out at all. We're just doing the main line out, which is right here. We're gonna come out of this, hard to do with one hand, which kills the connection to everything. We're gonna change the settings to this to 1920, 1080 by 5994 or even 60. I'm gonna try and switch it to 60 just to see, and then we're gonna see, do we get that wavy effect? Well, first off, does everything show up, and then do we get the wavy effect? Because that's not gonna affect the multi-view. It's only gonna affect these outputs and here, as well as the one TV and the narthex, and that's mainly it. Alrighty, we're all connected. Main line in from the ATEM right there in the back. From here, then we have an SDI out going into our switch. So our splitter. Let's go ahead and plug in the power, and boom, now we got a signal. So everything is good. Let me get out of my website here. We got this image here. We have that was the hyperdeck. Let's go back to our video setup. Let's see. As you can see, we're at 5994, so that's cool. And now what we're gonna do, let's switch over. Let's point this camera at me, and let's see, do we get the waviness going on here? So let's switch to our left camera. All right, so I am here, and now we want to see, do we get the waviness? No, we don't. So yeah, that was a roundabout way of getting it, but that waviness and all that other stuff of maybe moving too fast is being done by the up down cross HD. Now, worst case scenario, if we have any connection issues with our presentation system, ProPresenter, I'm gonna have to unfortunately get another one of these, and that would solve the issue. I really hope I don't need to do that. I would hope maybe by now, by having this frame rate and all this other stuff, this has been solved. Because the main issue is just that Windows kept choking and trying to send a different resolution when the black magic was detected. But what I'm gonna do is shut everything off, test it, shut it on, back on, make sure I don't have any issues, and then we'll be done. And my camera, I've been leaving it on, it hasn't turned off, and I'm almost out of power. So ZV1, we're gonna see what the footage looks like, because this was in 4K the entire time, and I think that's about it. No, I wasn't in 4K. Boo! I thought I was. Alright, so I am in 4K now, but the last thing I did not check is to make sure that the Thor is getting a proper signal and it's being supported everywhere. So let's take a little journey to the chapel. Let me grab my keys so I don't get locked out of here. And let's make a trip real quick and make sure we get a signal. Alright, the image actually worked, but my camera died right when I was trying to record a picture of it. Alrighty, so as you can see, we got an image here. We're in the entrance to the administration wing, which we really don't use this TV because they can't find a remote. But this remote that I had, the Logitech one, that I don't use anymore because it can't program for some odd reason, it's still programmed to when I needed it to configure this. So I'm just going to leave it here, and boom, we have our image. Everything is working good. So yay. The only thing I got to do now is just shut the system off a couple of times and just make sure that the ProPresenter system monitor doesn't give me any issues. If it does, we just got to order another up-down cross HD, which makes the computer always see that as a monitor. Even when the ATEM is turned off, it's always on. So that's cool. So let's kill the whole system, shut it all down, restart all the computers, bring everything back up, and then make sure everything is working. Then my work is done here. I just got a call that we're gonna have an on-site in Norfolk on Thursday. I also have 2 consultations tomorrow, and I got a computer that I need to build and ship out. I'm gonna do that this afternoon. Hopefully I can get the computer stuff done before I have to pick my daughter up, so I can get that stuff out of the way. And I have a new supplier, so I think I'm gonna order my own boxes for my computers that I ship out, so that I don't have to buy the shipping boxes from Lowe's to fit everything. Because I've had one customer had an issue that we're still fighting, that UPS dropped the whole computer. So I just built them a new computer and sent it to them on my own expense, waiting for UPS to refund me the damaged equipment, which has been going on for about 2 months now. So that's fun. All right, let's shut the whole thing down, restart everything, and make sure everything comes up perfectly fine. You won't see anything else unless there's a problem, but we'll get back to the apartment and then continue some work, because it's 1:30. I got about 3 hours to finish up stuff before I gotta pick my daughter up.